Found Thomas 308, attending domestic at 52 Federation Drive.
Message received 308. Backup required.
Not at this stage, BKC.
You asked Tom Croydon about him. Tom Croydon knows it.
Okay, calm down, Mrs. Hendricks.
You asked Tom Croydon about him.
Hey, Tom.
When did you hit town?
This morning.
Didn't take you long. Interview room.
Have a seat.
What's the story, Wayne?
A domestic at the Hendricks place out on Federation Drive.
Oh, you didn't.
I got a right to see my son.
Didn't they tell you in prison? Or didn't you take any notice? You can't just lob on people. You've got to give them time, a warning.
If I'd let Val know I was coming, I'd never have seen Shane.
I got the fright of my life, Tom. Opened the door and there he was.
So you had no idea that he was coming to see you?
None. I mean, shouldn't somebody have told me he was being let out?
Well, I'm afraid it doesn't work like that. Even we have no idea when prisoners we've put away are being released.
Well, I tell you what, he was lucky my husband wasn't home.
So is he going to be charged, Sergeant?
Well, that'll depend on your statements, but he could be with property damage, assault. It's up to you.
If we press charges, he'll have to go to court. It'll only upset my husband digging up the past.
What about you, Shane?
I'll go along with Mum.
He might be a father. But he's nothing but trouble. You keep him away from us, right? Alex Bailey ruined my life once. He's not going to do it again.
Val decided not to press charges as long as you pay for the damage.
Oh, that's big of her.
But I'm warning you to stay away from him.
I've got every right to see my own son.
Use the phone or write him a letter. What was the damage?
As far as we know, a picture frame and a vase.
All right, you cover the replacement costs. We won't take it any further.
Yeah, all right.
But this is it, Alex. No more trouble, got it? Of any sort. Okay, show him out.
Alex!
Chris?
Hi! You took your time. I was expecting your first thing.
Yeah, I'll have a bit of business to attend to.
Yeah, I heard. Come on through. Police business. What did Tom say?
Well, he wasn't beside himself with delight.
Well, you can't really blame him. He went out on quite a limb for you before he went inside. Nearly got himself transferred.
Yeah, well, so he should. What are mates for?
Look at it from his point of view. Burglary, murder, what do you expect?
You believe me?
Yeah, but I'm not a cop or a judge and jury. If you could just keep yourself out of trouble, maybe you'll come around.
I just wanted to talk to my son.
Well, don't push it. You've got all the time in the world now.
Yeah.
Got your room ready?
Huh.
Come on up. I'll put you up the top so you can have some privacy.
Oh, you mean like solitary? Great.
Gordon Hendricks. I've come to see Tom Croydon.
I'll let him know you're here.
I know he's an old mate of yours, but I can't believe you just stand back and let him terrorise my family.
Alex Bailey isn't a mate of mine.
Oh,
I'm not that pleased to see him back here either, but I'd hardly call what he's done terrorising.
He smashed things. He threatened my wife.
Oh, I've had a quiet word with him. And from now on, he knows we'll be keeping an eye on him.
I'm not sure that's good enough. Can't you get a restraining order on him or something?
Your wife didn't want to press charges. Look, I don't think Alex Bailey will be looking for any more trouble.
He's looked for trouble all his life.
Yeah, well, he struck the jackpot last time, didn't he? Any more strife, he'll be back inside so fast he'll hardly know he's been out.
There's also the matter of my stepson. When I married Val, I took over all Bailey's responsibilities. And as far as I'm concerned, he's got no rights to the boy whatsoever, and I expect you people to back me up.
No, we were all skinny dipping down by the river. We were about 14 or 15, you remember?
You always were over sex.
Says you. Anyway, Tom turns up and he's going to dob us all in for indecent exposure. He was born to be a cop, that guy.
He just thought you were moving in on his girl.
I was.
I heard she was killed. Car accident.
Nell?
What is it with this Bailey character? Oh, we grew up together. He was a bit of a larrikin. Drank too much, fought too much, played around too much. Nothing too serious until he committed a couple of burglaries. Even then, I thought we could keep him on the straight and narrow, so I went into court as a character witness. Well, one night not long after that, he knocked off a factory, killed a security guard. Oh. He got 10 years. I was bloody lucky I didn't get transferred to the back of Whoop.
So why is Hendrick so steamed up about it?
It's his factory.
Nah, there's going to be more to it.
Oh, well, at the time, Bailey's wife was Hendrick's secretary. Well, while he was inside, she divorced him and married Gordon.
You think Bailey'd be the one upset?
Val, I think he might have been happy to get rid of her.
Tom, sorry to hear about Nell.
Yeah, thanks.
Buy you a drink?
No, thanks. PJ's just walked.
Yeah, well, like an early night. Not used to staying up late yet.
Boss, burglary at the Barrett's warehouse. This is Shelley Barrett.
Thanks for coming in, Miss Barrett. Come on through. So, what have we got?
Well, it looks like they gained entry through an office window, left the same way.
What was taken?
Mostly electrical goods. CDs, radios, TVs, video recorders, stuff you could flog in a pub.
Anybody hurt?
No, thank goodness.
Suspects?
Well, I've checked with the security company and arranged to interview the staff.
We'll do that. In the meantime, we might have another chat with our Mr. Bailey. Bring him in, will you, Patterson? And make sure you search his vehicle.
The bloke we pulled in yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
You got any special reason?
Just bring him in.
Once it's cleared and paved, it'll be perfect as a beer garden.
Yeah.
Might even have a pergola and a grapevine.
Smashes a rat with a gold tooth.
Chris?
Hi.
It's your vehicle, mate? Yeah. What is this? What the hell do you think you're doing?
Alex Bailey, we'd like you to accompany us to the station, please.
Oh, great. Who am I supposed to rob this time?
If you wouldn't mind coming with us, please, sir.
Yeah, Robbie Freeman, please.
Right, Alex.
What is this? I've only been in town 5 minutes.
And the whole place has been in uproar ever since.
Boss, there's a Mr. Freeman here, rehabilitation officer for Mr. Bailey.
Freeman. All right, show him in.
Mr. Freeman, this way, thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant. Better to head off problems before they arise, eh?
What sort of problems would they be, Mr. Freeman?
Well, in a situation like this, bias, perhaps? Don't worry, I'm here purely as an observer.
Well, thank you, Mr. Freeman. Right, Mr. Bailey. You know the Barrett Electrical Warehouse?
Everyone in Mount Thomas knows it.
Been anywhere near it since you got back?
Yeah, I'm thinking of starting up a business in the area, so I went for a drive yesterday over to see what's what.
Ah, yes, I heard you had a vehicle.
Yeah, 40 second-hand van.
Just the thing for carrying around CD players, TVs, radios.
Look, your blokes went through it and they didn't find anything because there's nothing to find. Now, what's this all about?
Oh, let me explain, Mr. Bailey. The 4 a.m. security check on the factory was all clear. But at 7 a.m, a break-in had been discovered. Now, where were you between 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. this morning?
I went for a walk down by the river.
At 4 in the morning.
I don't sleep so good, all right? And after 10 years in a cell, I'm not exactly crazy about confined spaces.
Anybody see you?
Who's going to see you down by the river at 4 in the morning?
$7,000 disappeared in the Hendricks job 10 years ago. Now, suddenly you're back in town looking to start up a business.
Excuse me, Sergeant, but I can assure you that Mr. Bailey's financial resources have no connection with criminal activity. So, do you have any other questions?
Not at the moment.
Right.
What do you reckon, boss?
I reckon the jumped up sociologist wouldn't have bias and bit him. Look, PJ and Rose are in court this morning. I want you to take Doyle with you and find out who did do this burglary.
Me?
Yes, Patterson, you.
Great.
Oh, the pair of them were lazy and unreliable. Obviously, they were the first to be retrenched.
And they live out here somewhere.
Yeah, I know the place when I see it. I was out this way the other day and I recognised their van.
It's not unusual for disgruntled staff to try and get back at their boss.
Nobody likes being fired.
Well, they certainly didn't. They called me every name under the sun, punched the foreman and wrecked the time clock.
Why didn't you call us?
Oh, we just wanted them out of our hair.
That's it. The white one, that's their van.
You lads going somewhere? Keys, please. Car.
That's it.
Hi, Shane.
Hey, Chris, you been in a sec?
Caught you at a busy time, eh?
It's usually like this. I've got to get them as soon as they come in. Got to log the kilometres on every vehicle. I'm like mission control. So what brings you here? Something to do with my dad, I bet.
Well, yeah.
Not a very good start yesterday morning, eh?
No, it wasn't. All he wanted to do was talk.
What about Gordon? I mean, Gordon's been more of a father to me than my real father. I've got this job, there's a family and everything.
Meeting up with your dad isn't going to change all that. You've got your own life. It just means making a bit of space in there for him.
Oh,
Why don't you give him a chance?
I don't know. I can't get over the fact he's a murderer.
There's some of us who don't believe he is. Why don't you just meet up with him? He suggested at the park. Neutral territory.
Will you be there?
If you want.
All right.
Great. 5 o'clock, okay?
All right. All right.
I don't really know what the big deal is about detective work. It was a piece of cake.
Yeah, I think we had the whole case wrapped up in about, what was it, Wayne?
Ooh, half an hour? Including matching confessions. They're bailed to appear next week.
It's pathetic, really. These two dinglings broke into the warehouse the very same night they're fired, steal all this electrical equipment, and then reckon they only took it in lieu of holiday pay.
It's pretty funny, really.
Hilarious. I'll be out for a while.
Anywhere special?
Just out. Alex, we caught the fellows who did the Barrett warehouse.
So?
Well, I just thought you should know. From me.
Feeling guilty, eh?
Look, I'm just trying to do the right thing.
Oh, that's really big of you, Tom. It's just like the good old days.
The old days? Listen, I was the only cop who stood up for you in the old days. I believed every word you said. More fool me.
Your instincts were right. I was on the straight and narrow then, and I still am.
Yeah, you got me with that one last time. You just can't resist stealing. Half the time you only do it for the thrill, don't you?
Yeah, well, I've got to keep you on your toes, Tom.
G'day, Tom. Time to go.
Did tell him, did you?
Yeah, he'll be here.
Don't suppose I could blame him if he didn't show.
He'll show. See what I tell you?
What now?
I don't know. Just talk. Something will happen.
Hope so. G'day.
Thanks for coming. Your dad just wanted to have a few words.
What did you want to talk about?
Oh, I don't know, just talk. It's been a long time.
You know, I didn't visit you in jail because Mum said it might be a bad influence.
Yeah, well, it is. On the inside.
Yeah, well, I better get going. You've got a lot to catch up on, and that place of mine doesn't run by itself.
Yeah. All right. We might go for a bit of a walk, yeah? Tall? Last time I saw you about this big. How old were you then? About 8?
Cheers, Chris.
So I told him about the courier service idea and it went down like a lead balloon.
Isn't it all a bit too soon?
Well, you know me, no point in hanging around.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, all those factories and warehouses, there's a couple of solicitors, accountants, agents, all just screaming out for a courier service.
Nothing wrong with the idea.
Reckon I rushed him?
Yeah, probably, but he'll come round.
You reckon?
Yeah, you know what kids are like. G'day, Gordon. What'll it be?
Bailey, I want you to keep away from Shane. He's not interested in your ratbag ideas.
For your information, we were discussing a business proposition.
You doing an honest day's work?
I've been sounding out a few local businessmen and I've been getting a good hearing.
Casing the joint's more like it. Look, get this into your head, Bailey. I take care of Shane now. You got nothing to do with him. The best thing you can do is get out of town and stay out.
You're a mongrel, Hendricks.
Yeah, go on, have a go.
I'll see that bloke whenever I want to, and nothing you can say or do is going to make any difference. So don't try, all right?
It's fine. Mr. Hendricks is just leaving.
Keep away from him. Keep away from my family.
Mongrel.
You mustn't let him get to you, that's all.
Yeah, I think that's what he wanted. Thanks, Chris.
What'd I do?
A lot. Couldn't have made it without your help. Still not sure I can.
Of course you will.
Can you spare a moment?
Sure. Sounds serious.
Look, I know Hendricks is up himself, but well, what if he's right? I'm not sure it's worth all the grief. The kid doesn't want to know me. Everybody thinks I'm a disaster area.
I don't.
You'd be about the only one. Now, fair dinkum, I just think it might be better if I just disappeared. What do you reckon?
I'd give it a bit longer.
Here's Tom. He'll know what to do.
Morning, Roy. Spot of trouble.
Morning, Tom. Yeah, you could say that.
Money all they took?
Yeah. Yeah, whoever did it knew I kept it.
Nothing else was disturbed. They got in through the roof to the office. Straight to the filing cabinet and the cash box.
In through the roof?
Yeah.
This is exactly the same MO Alex Bailey used on the Hendricks job 10 years ago.
Oh, he can't be that stupid. Guess no one was killed this time.
What security do you have, Mr. Rayney?
Locks and alarms on all the doors and windows.
What about this?
Only on the external doors, and definitely nothing on the roof. Security blokes never notice the roof. I'll be having something to say about that, I can tell you.
You don't have sensor beams?
This is Mount Thomas, not Fort Knox.
Do you usually carry cash on the premises?
Yeah, there's always money in there. Some customers pay cash for classified.
How much is missing?
I reckon around $1,500.
Could they have got out any external doors without setting off the alarms?
Nah.
Probably went out the same way he got in. I'd like you to come down to the station, Mr. Raymond. Make a statement.
Never had much to do with the police. I tell my staff my door is always open, but I never meant like this. No enemies, no dissatisfied customers, no disgruntled workers. I treat my staff like family. Even my family say they'd be better off working for me. Everybody's trying to get on the action. Last week it was laminators, this week couriers.
Couriers?
Yeah, Alex Bailey's trying to set up a courier service.
Bailey's been out to your place?
Yeah, came and saw me yesterday morning. Was thinking of setting up some sort of messenger service. Wanted to know if I'd be a potential customer.
And?
Well, it's a damn good idea. I'd use him.
Do you know anything about him?
Well, I know his reputation, if that's what you mean. Gordon Hendricks filled me in.
You know Hendricks?
Yeah, Gordon Hendricks handles all my deliveries. Been associates for donkey's years.
Did you show Bailey over your factory?
No, we just sat in my office all the time.
Did anyone use the cash box in the filing cabinet while he was there?
Are you kidding?
Any more orange juice?
No, thanks, Chris.
Didn't expect to see you today.
Chris's idea.
Hope I didn't wake anyone.
Nah, Mum wouldn't hear the phone from her and Gordon was already at work. Look, I'm sorry about yesterday. You freaked me out a bit.
Oh, no, it's all right. I understand.
It's a lot all at once. You know, Mum doesn't want me to see you. Gordon have a go at you?
Yeah, I can handle him.
Yeah. all the same, I just don't know what to do, you know. I'd like to get to know you. I mean, nothing too heavy. Maybe we can be friends or something.
Friends might be the best idea.
I don't even know Mum and Gordon's side of the story. I'd like to find out for myself and make up my own mind.
I can't ask more than that. Thanks, son.
I don't think I could call you Dad. Not yet, anyway.
G'day, Chris.
You don't look like you've come for breakfast.
No. Alex Bailey, will you accompany us down to the station, please?
Oh, for crying out loud, what is it this time?
Just to answer a few questions about the break-in at the Gazette.
You're not serious.
Right, so. Come on, sir. You want to come?
This is ridiculous.
All that crap about going straight and getting into business. Geez, Mum and Gordon were right. He is nothing but a lying thief.
I told you I was in my room at the pub all night.
Oh, you didn't go for a walk in the early hours of the morning?
No.
Nobody else saw you, of course.
No, I had a drink in the pub and then I went to bed.
Nothing else?
Gordon Hendricks had a go at me, but nothing to get excited about. A couple of your boys were there. Then I went to my room and that's where I stayed.
Why would anybody else break into a factory and commit a robbery exactly the same way you did 10 years ago?
Sergeant Croydon, the whole town knows Alex Bailey is back, and it wouldn't take an enterprising copycat long to dig out a few old newspapers and do exactly what happened all those years ago.
On the other hand, Mr. Bailey doesn't have to look it up in old newspapers, does he?
Wayne, I thought we agreed to clean our own coffee mugs.
Yeah, I agreed. I just didn't say how often.
Very funny.
Thank you.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, is Tom around?
He is, but he's interviewing someone at the moment.
It's important. Could you let him know I'm here?
Yeah, sure.
Chris? Maggie said it was urgent.
Yes, it is.
We're just questioning Alex now, as a matter of fact.
Yes, I thought you might be. That's why I'm here. Did he tell you where he was last night?
Claims he was in bed at the pub, stayed there all night.
Well, he was, but I thought you mightn't have believed him.
Well, it's a bit difficult to substantiate.
I've got proof.
Oh, yes?
I know he was in his room all night because I was with him.
All right, Chris. Are you prepared to make a statement that you spent the night with Alex Bailey?
Yep.
You do realise this could eventually become public knowledge, be dragged through the courts?
Yep.
Do you know why we're questioning Alex Bailey?
Oh, something to do with a robbery at the Gazette?
There's no chance that you might have fallen asleep and he left the room.
No.
He told us that he's a poor sleeper. He likes to take early morning walks.
Yes, well, he certainly didn't last night. The only reason you're questioning him is because of the Hendricks job.
Right. And last night's burglary was identical.
And he didn't do the Hendricks job either. Alex is no murderer and you know it.
The jury was satisfied.
Somebody somehow set him up. I know you weren't running the place then, but the police took the easy way out. Alex had a record, so who cared? But you're doing exactly the same thing now. Have you got any evidence against him?
Not yet.
Any other suspects?
Not yet.
And there probably won't be any.
Chris, your judgment on this has been influenced by...
Oh, yes, I know. Personal involvement. Perhaps you could do with a bit of that yourself. Or is it the fact that we were all friends once, making it too hard for you?
Alex Bailey's been going around town telling everybody he's going into business. Now, where do you suppose he's going to get that sort of money?
From me. I've put up $10,000 to help him get started.
All right, Egan, I think we've got the facts of the matter.
Yes, boss.
Chris, what's going on? You admit to sleeping with this man.
That's none of your business.
And you're giving him large sums of money?
An investment.
Based on what sort of collateral?
And that's none of your business either.
I'm sorry, but I can't believe you know what you're doing.
We're mates. And that means a lot to me.
Alex Bailey did 10 years for murder.
For a crime he didn't commit. Burglary I'd buy, but murder never. I didn't believe it then and I do not believe it now. And even if he did, he's paid for it and he deserves a chance to start again.
Not at the expense of the Hendricks.
No. Well, I told him to stay away, but he ignored me.
You told him?
We kept in contact. Val never wrote unless there was a problem. And she saw to it that Shane never made any contact. At least Alex knew that he had one friend outside. Still disappointed in the way you dumped on an old mate.
Me? I was the one who was dumped on. I was nearly transferred. I stuck my neck out so bloody far.
It's a matter of trust, Tom. And I trust him.
Thanks, Doyle. All right, read that. If it's a true record of events, sign it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a couple of copies of that, please. All right, you can release Alex Bailey.
Bit of a surprise packet, eh?
Yes, well, it's none of our business.
If those burglaries were so similar, maybe we should take a look at their Hendricks case again.
10 years is a long time.
Identical MOs point directly at Bailey. But Chris swears he didn't do it.
I suppose the copycat idea is a possibility. Or Alex Bailey is as big a con artist as the boss thinks.
See what you can dig up.
What are we looking for?
Anything they might have missed.
Hi. Look, I just wanted to tell you that your father had nothing to do with that robbery last night.
You stick up for him all the time, don't you?
The police haven't got any evidence. They've had to let him go. Can't you give him the benefit of the doubt as well?
What doubt?
I know for a fact that he didn't do that robbery. And I still believe he was innocent all those years ago.
Well, and Gordon don't seem to think so.
I'm not sticking my nose into this for the fun of it. I really like your dad. And I really like you. Can't you just give it a go?
Look, Chris, I know you mean well. I just need to work this out for myself. Is that okay?
Mrs. Riley, we must talk.
Yeah, sure. What about?
This isn't very pleasant, so I'll get to the point. My husband and I deeply resent your interference.
I assume you're talking about Shane.
You saw him yesterday and again this morning. Look, we've done our best for Shane.
I'm sure you have, Mrs. Hendricks, but Alex has served his time and he deserves a chance to start again.
Let me tell you one or two things about Alex Bailey.
Alex and I go back a long way. I think I know him pretty well.
Do you? I don't think you do. Alex, everybody's mate and good for a laugh. Except when he's at home. No food or money one week to the next. Drunken rages, sneaky. Not to mention a complete pain in the ass. You should try living with him.
It doesn't alter the fact that Alex was convicted for a crime he didn't commit.
Keep out of this, Mrs. Riley. It has nothing to do with you. And if you do see Alex, you can tell him from me. Stay away from Shane.
And if he doesn't?
Well, he's going to find it very hard to get started in business around here. My husband will see to that.
I don't know why we've got to go over something that happened so many years ago.
Well, last night's robbery and yours was similar. You could help us find the offender.
There's not much doubt about who that was. He came in through the roof out there and he broke into this office.
This door?
Yeah. It was locked at the time and he jammed it off its hinges. It was always locked after hours, especially when I had money in the cash box.
Was that often?
Oh, it was only a petty cash, stamp money.
So $7,000 was unusual?
Yeah, it was. He forced the top drawer on the filing cabinet, smashed open the cash box and took the money. That's when Laurie Ritchie came in.
He was the night watchman?
Yeah, a great bloke. Laurie knew Bailey, Bailey knew him, and wallop. Bailey hit him with a tyre lever. He dropped dead right there on the floor.
Who discovered him?
I did. First thing next morning. Never forget that, never.
I understand the tyre lever with a dead man's blood on it was found in Bailey's car.
Yeah, hard to believe, isn't it? But true.
Bailey must have been crazy.
He still is.
Did you find anything at the Gazette?
No, I had a word with some of the workers, but they reckon Ron Raymond's the bee's knee, so it must have been an outside.
Well, what about you, PJ? Have you come up with anything?
No, just routine stuff.
Well, it has to be Bailey. I mean, it's a dead ringer for that old Hendricks job.
PJ?
Yeah. Oh, you got something?
Not exactly a revelation. The widow of the night watchman Bailey killed She was never interviewed during the inquiry.
That's normal. Probably too distressed.
Said it wasn't much.
It's worth a try. Give her a call.
You didn't have to tell Tom. Took a lot of courage, Chris. Thanks.
You didn't happen to go walkabout last night, did you?
Oh, don't you start.
I fell asleep. You could have been gone for a couple of hours. I'd never know.
Do you think I did that burglary last night?
Tom Croydon thinks you did.
Chris, you're the only one who's believed in me. Don't stop now.
Thanks for coming in, Mrs. Richer. Sorry to make you go over this after all these years.
I'll never forget the night Laurie died. I remember saying to him he shouldn't be going to work at all. He had a cold, a bad one. Mr. Hendricks knew. He even suggested he take a sick leave.
But he didn't?
No. He said if a job's worth doing, it's worth doing properly. It was only his professionalism that kept him on the job at all.
Why is that?
Well, Mr. Hendricks hadn't paid him for weeks. Laurie didn't seem to mind. He said that Mr. Hendricks would pay him as soon as he had the money.
Wasn't the first time?
Heavens, no. Hendricks was having a bit of a struggle at the time. Something to do with a contract with Mr. Raymond at the Gazette. But Laurie insisted on going off to work. Look what happened.
After your husband was killed, did Mr. Hendricks try and make up the money he owed?
Oh, more than that. He was so generous. He saw to it that I never wanted for anything.
Yeah, they were tough times. Gordon Hendricks had to find the dough to buy a second truck. Otherwise, he couldn't have handled my contracts.
Is that what the $7,000 was for? The money he had in his cash box?
Yeah, I suppose so. Good thing he had it insured. It was only that insurance money that got him through.
You weren't associated with Hendricks before then?
No, he was just another battler. Of course, we both moved on since then.
I should write a book. I've been over these events so many times.
There's just one or two questions we'd like you to answer, Mr. Hendricks. We understand that you were experiencing financial difficulties at the time of the burglary.
That's true. Times were tough in the trucking business.
How tough?
I was trying to build my company. I borrowed as much as I could from the bank, but I needed another truck.
So where did you get the $7,000 that was stolen from your cash box?
I scraped it up as best I could.
Quite a scrape, $7,000.
Took a hat around. Favourite uncle came good and helped me out.
And where's this favourite uncle now?
He passed away a couple of years ago. It's a great loss. He was a good bloke.
Pity that. I'm sure we can check the bank records.
Well, you can't, I'm afraid. It was all cash. I was a bit behind in my mortgage, and if anything had gone through the account, the bank would have jumped on it.
Who else knew the money was in the cash box?
Insurance company, secretary.
Val, who later became your wife.
Yeah. Val was married to Alex Bailey at the time. That's how he found out about the money. She told him.
Yeah, I told Alex. Told him everything about my work.
So he would have known where Mr. Hendricks kept the cash box?
Yes, Alex was in and out of the office all the time. Dropped me off at work and picked me up after. He was in the pub.
The day of the robbery, did you know there was $7,000 in the cash box?
Yes.
How did you know?
Gordon told me.
Did you actually see the money?
Well, no, I never actually saw it, but I knew it was there. I'd seen the book entries.
But not the actual money?
Look, Gordon wouldn't lie to me.
You've been looking very busy, PJ. Have you actually got anything?
I'm building a case against Hendricks for the original crime, which could clear Bailey.
How come this is the first I've heard of it?
Well, it's all circumstantial. Got nothing to nail him on yet.
We're waiting on insurance and bank records and the original records of interview.
Don't you think I should have been informed if you're reopening the Hendricks case?
We're just following leads on the newspaper job. I just stirred a possum along the way.
I hope Alex Bailey appreciates everything you're doing for
Okay,
him.
thank you. Boss, Val Hendricks on the phone. Gordon's gone berserk. He's laying into the kid.
Sounds like you've stirred up more than possums. You better get over there.
All right, come on, Rose.
Please, you've got to stop him. He's going to kill him. Please, you've got to stop him.
All right. Now, who's going to kill
My
who?
husband, he's gone crazy. He says he's going to kill Alex, and he will. He's got a gun.
Our time is 5:08 to VKC.
What are you doing?
Moving out of here.
Alex,
No lectures, Chris. It's for the best.
you don't have to go.
Even you don't believe me anymore.
Yes, I do.
You've got your doubts. That's bad enough. What the hell's he doing here?
Gordon, what are you doing?
I'm going to kill him.
This has nothing to do with her.
Yeah, get. You're vermin, Bailey. Corrosive, you destroy everything you get near. Get out of the way! Get out of there!
All right, Gordon. It's all over.
You stay where you are.
Come on, we can sort out all this stuff after.
We'll sort it out now. Couldn't keep away, could you? Had to destroy a man's family. Even your own son.
Drop the gun, Hendricks. You're not going to use it.
Yes, I am. Billy! Right. Okay.
OK, what set him off? At least you can't blame this one on Alex Bailey.
Well, Chris and a few others don't think Alex did the original burglary.
Go on.
And it looked like he may have been set up again over the burglary at the Gazette.
Well, that's possible.
I was going through my records.
The records from your work, you mean?
The mileages, yeah. And on the night of the burglary at the Gazette, there was a discrepancy. An extra 11k on the ute. Must have been driven overnight.
And?
Well, I checked it out. And the round trip from the yard to the Gazette and back is exactly 11k.
Who actually drives the ute?
Oh, it's a strict rule that Gordon's the only one.
You fronted him with this?
Yeah, and he just sort of snapped.
As you're the only one who drives this vehicle, Mr. Hendricks, perhaps you'd like to explain those 11Ks.
These are confidential documents. You've got no right.
All we need to know is about those 11 kilometres. Can you tell us where you went last night? Shane's in my office. Perhaps you'd like to explain it to him.
No. What? Oh, God.
Mr. Hendricks, we would like to interview you in relation to the murder and robbery at your factory 10 years ago.
I want Shane here.
You sure?
I want him to hear what I have to say. Shane, you've got to understand, if I didn't find the money for that truck, I would never have got Roy Raymond's contract. I'd have been wiped out. I had to go for the insurance. And you're right. There was no cash. I lied to Val, and she believed me. I did well. Everyone believed me.
What about Laurie Richer?
Poor Laurie. I told him not to come to work. I panicked. God knows I didn't mean to kill him.
So you put the bloodstained tyre lever into Alex Bailey's car?
I had to save myself. And when Bailey came back to town, I could see everything coming unstuck. And I had to do something.
So you did over the Gazette?
Shane, everything I did was for you. I was desperate to make it up to you. I gave you a better life than he ever could.
At the expense of my real father's life. I believe you.
At 4:30, Shane Bailey left the interview room.
One more question. What happened to the $1,500 you took from the Gazette?
I planted it on Bailey. You lot missed it. It's under the driver's seat in his van.
Well, now that the slate's clean, will you stick around?
It'll never be that clean, will it? I mean, every time there's a burglary, mine will be the first name that springs to mind.
Especially if they come in through the roof.
Yeah. I think even St David's is a bit close. Maybe somewhere around Shepperton way. Far enough to get a fresh start, but close enough to keep an eye on young Shane. And a few old mates.
Yeah, well, don't lose touch. I owe you a drink.
Yeah.
OK, you lot. You know what this is? Money from the Gazette cash box. The major piece of evidence against Alex Bailey, which Gordon Hendricks planted in his car, and you bunnies missed it. Lock it up.
You don't have to go, you know.
Oh, yes, I do. Can't stay in Mount Thomas. Too heavy. Too many spooks.
Hope I'm not one of them.
No way.
Sorry I backed off.
No, it's all right. I know how it looked.
Spoken to Val?
She doesn't want to know me. Feelings mutual.
Keep in touch.
Sure.
I'll look you out.
Shane, just going to go without saying goodbye.
Wasn't gonna let you.
Thanks for everything you've done.
I guess I owed it to you.
No, it wasn't your fault. Anyway, it's over now. Maybe Hendricks will get my old cell.
Heard you disowned him single-handed.
Not really. I'd still like to talk. I'd still like us to go into business together.
Gordon was grooming me to take over his business, so I think I should stick with that.
Oh, well, who knows? Maybe one day my courier business and your cartage business might merge.
Maybe.
I'll be in touch, son.
Sure. Dad.